on that commute. Every time I do that math, everyone's mind is blown. They're like, oh, but I'm saving. It's a savings. Like, that's what they want you to think. It's not a savings. It's an expense. Your time costs money. Right. And if you don't think about your time that way, then you're just an employee of the United States of America.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, guys, we are here in New York. Couldn't think of a much better guest to have than Ryan Serhant here. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you got a lot of exciting things going on right now, so we'll dive into some of that. You just got back from F1 Miami, right?
Yes. Yeah, if I look red, that's why, because it was 6,000 degrees.
Jeez.
It was so hot.
I bet.
Yeah. Danny was there. He's still sweating. You know, I had to go get a whole new wardrobe like the day before because we went to the track twice. We went on Saturday because I'm selling Mercedes-Benz residences.
Oh, nice.
And so we had access with Mercedes-Benz to go into the paddock, to go on the track, to do everything and meet everyone and meet the owner of the Mercedes-Benz AMG F1 Petronas team, Toto Wolff. So we did that on Saturday. And I just remember getting there and being like, wait. What is happening? And like going and hiding behind a tree to try to save myself because the sun and the humidity was so strong. Didn't help the humidity, but like it's like a 10-degree difference between being in the sun and then just being next to a tree. And like it was so hot. But then F1 was awesome. It was so cool. Yeah. I'd never been to an F1 race before.
Really?
I've never watched F1.
That's surprising.
I've never seen Drive. Why? Because you think I go fast?
No, because your clientele is all ballers and billionaires and they go to events like that.
Maybe, but they've never talked to me about it. They go to NBA games. They go to Vegas. Like they're some of them are into like fun extreme sports. They own sports teams.
Got it.
But very rarely do I have like a huge F1 aficionado client. And so it was my first time, but I went with one of my clients, obviously. And then saw a lot of other clients there. And it's like, oh, so we have a shared thing now.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's just cars racing around. And then I was like crying at the end when Ando won. I was like so emotionally invested. And it could have been the sweat coming out of every pore on my body, but it was so cool.
Yeah. Well, I saw a video of you saying you wear sunscreen every day. So
I do.
Did that help?
Yeah, I didn't get burnt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm whiter today than I was probably over the weekend, which is super annoying. I think because I was bathed in suntan lotion when I was a little kid, it just permeated in my soul. Yeah. And so now I'm just like, oh, I always have suntan lotion and I wear SPF 20 on my face every single day, even in the winter.
Wow, that's intense, man. You ran into Quavo out there. I saw that was everywhere.
Dude, Quavo. That was so wild. It happened so fast. We didn't even have time to comprehend what was happening. All I knew was we were parked next to that bridge right before Brickell City Center to try to get our drone up the river and catch our Maybach as we were coming over the bridge. So we were parked in an apartment complex, like right off to the side of the road.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and then this Escalade rolls around, comes up, and pulls up right up next to us. All the windows go down. These guys are looking out at us, looking at the car, and they all get out. Like, oh my God, what's happening? And then we see it's Quavo, and I look at Danny. He's in the back seat. I'm like, is that Quavo? Quavo? I don't know. I don't really listen to Migos a lot. No. So he's like, yeah, that's him. And then, as the great vlogger that he is, camera immediately goes up. We're just like, what's happening? And he comes over. I get out of the car. He sits in, checks it out. And then my immediate focus from that point on was sell Quavo an apartment. So I was like, do you have a place in Miami? Are you there? And then he got back in the car and left. I love how the comments on that video are like watching Ryan try to figure out what to do with his hands when we were taking that photo. Because I didn't know what to do with his hands. With my hands, I was like,
would you end up going with the peace sign?
No, because he did a thing.
Yeah,
you can cut to it. You can show it. He did his sign and like lean back, and then I was like, what do I do?
Yeah,
oh, I gotta have a thing. I need to have a thing. When I take photos, just always do a thing.
Yeah.
So I think I just went like I was like in church. I was like, ah. Yeah, I did the best I could.
That's funny, man. You're also going viral for a recent wedding you attended in Egypt.
I did go to a wedding in Egypt. Yeah. You know what, man? We do a lot of social. I don't necessarily understand why certain things get watched a lot, why certain things don't get watched a lot. Clearly, I've been making content since 2013 at this point, really. Like really making content, not like just pre-Facebook, early college days. And it's always amazing to me what people pick up on and what catches on. And even the property tours we do on YouTube and like the ones people liked, I'm like, dude, all I showed was like a closet. You can love the closet. And you never really know. I went to Ankur Jain and Erica Hammond's wedding, and it was a magical, amazing experience. It was so cool. It was such a once in a lifetime experience and made so many new friends. I still miss it right now.
Yeah. That went so viral, man. I mean, there was a lot of haters. I don't know if you saw that, but I thought it was really cool.
There's always haters. Also, look at me. Like, I sell real estate to the 1% of the 1%. Like I've dealt with haters my whole life, but my mission has always been to build for the better good of humanity, especially for entrepreneurs. Like, I'm the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. I had an interview about that yesterday. And especially on the education side of our business, where we teach creators how to sell product, how to build brand, salespeople, et cetera. And I don't really listen to the noise. Like, people have been giving me shit for having gray hair. People have been making fun of me and trash talking me. I've been bullied since I was a little kid. I was bullied in every school all the way through high school, man.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. We moved 8 times before 4th grade. I was born in Texas, bounced around Long Island, settled outside Boston, overweight, rash acne, super shy, sucked at sports, got in with the theater kids because they wouldn't make fun of me. And I just spent a lot of time trying to be somebody other than myself, which is why I think I got into theater in the first place early on. And so, like, it doesn't really faze me for people to be like, for me, honestly, I'm like, solid engagement.
I got bullied too. I had terrible acne. I was on Accutane.
Yes.
I saw you were on it 4 times, right?
Yes, 4 times.
That shit messed me up personally, but
did it?
It sounds like it worked well for you.
Like joints, what?
Just like no emotion.
Oh.
Just like a robot almost.
Really?
Yeah, but it sounds like it worked really well for you. So
maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's why I have no emotions now. No, be. So what I ended up finding, acne was fine, but the way I ended up doing it is because then it turned into full-blown rash, acne, and rosacea. So I was like, I was 21 in college. I had mass allergies. Like I did that stick allergy test, and my arm ballooned.
Oh crap!
To where all the doctors came in the room just to look at my arm and say, "Hey, this is what they show us in the medical books. He's here right now." And I was like, "What do I do?" I had to take Atarax and Disipramine twice a day, every day for like 8 years to stop that. And there was no cure really for the rosacea and the acne. The weight I got under control. But for that, and I found this doctor's name was Dr. Nays. And he wrote this book that I found online called Beating Rosacea. And in there, he talked about 2 treatments that saved his life. Because when you have that and you go outside and your skin is so painful because it's bright red, like to literally like imagine burning your face, just a pure burn, but all the time.
Jeez.
And acne on top of it. And so it was low dose Accutane. So it was 20 milligram pills when I started every other day.
Okay.
Right. And then eventually for a long period of time, I did 1 pill on Monday, 1 pill on Thursday. And it ends up going into your bloodstream and affecting your sebaceous glands at such a low point, you don't get the side effects. And yet for a longer period of time, especially as a male, obviously, right? So pregnant women should never take it,
right?
Or should not take it if they're trying to get pregnant or could be pregnant. It saved my life. Like literally saved my life. And then once I was off that, and 6 months after, because your skin's so fragile, the second treatment was V-beam laser. So a V-beam laser shrinks blood cells, and that like the 2 of those. And then I do, I have a super careful skin regimen now, plus the SPF every single day.
Yeah.
Like legit saved my life. And I think for people who have never experienced anything like that before, whether they, just have normal skin, whatever, have never been overweight, like they'll never even be able to sympathize.
Right.
You just don't get it.
Incredible. And now you have massive confidence. I'm sure back then you had a lack of confidence, right? With the acne.
Total lack of confidence. Like you don't learn to talk to people when you're so embarrassed by how you look. Like literally one of the things that we teach people now as part of our sellit.com programs, right? Is really, you say, okay, I sell real estate. I sell advertising for my podcast, whatever it might be. Okay. That's what you do, but that's not who you are, right? Who you are is your and. So I am real estate and, so I do real estate, sell real estate. I am not real estate. My and is media. I love it. I grew up in theater, short films, my little brother and I making movies, all that stuff. Like that's my and. So how do you really dig into that core identity, right? You have to ask, you start by asking people you kind of trust, not like your mom or your dad or a brother, okay? But someone you trust enough to give you honest feedback by defining you without using your name.
Interesting.
And it's always superficial, unfortunately, but it's helpful that way. And so I did that with a guy named Alex. He was like, dude, I don't know. You're like that gray-haired, tall, skinny white guy who thinks he's funnier than he is, who looks at the ground when he walks. And I was like, hold on. I was like, wait, what about like all the stuff in my life, my emotions, my feelings? He's like, oh yeah, I guess that too. It's amazing how people know each other, right? And it's always visual, right? Or it's audio too. Like her voice is crazy. I was like, gross, I don't stare at the ground when I walk. And then I started walking around. I'm like, holy I'm staring at the ground. Why do I had no idea. Like I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, when you're extra tall, maybe you walk with your shoulders slunched over. Like there's things that we do that are so instinctual. We just don't know. And I had to like dig into that. I didn't want to dye my hair anymore. So I left that one away. But it's like, when my skin was so bad for such a long period of time, it was too embarrassing to walk down the street and make eye contact with people because I would see their eyes look around my face, right?
Facts.
At cysts and everything. And so it was just easier for me to walk like this. And even after I fixed it and grew out of everything, I never fixed the muscle memory of being embarrassed when I walk.
Wow.
And that, I think, played an even bigger role into my life as then I grew up, like these little things. Like I ended up not being afraid of failure because I was totally used to failure. I ended up building a business based on my fear of embarrassment.
Wow.
That's
deep.
And then how I go into that, you want to get into it, bro? What is
Let's
this?
do it,
I don't
man.
even know what's happening right now. You asked me one question. Anyway, yes, Accutane. I took Accutane. That was the answer.
That's massive. And now you're dealing with the wealthiest people and you have no problems talking to them.
And they never asked me about my skin.
Yeah. You've come a long way, man.
I know.
I'm impressed.
Oh, God.
And acne is such a big deal these days and kids are really ashamed about it. But
I have such sympathy for people with acne, body dysmorphia, anything. I spend as much time as we can with kids. Kids and veterans are like probably my two biggest like give back moments. I want to say charity, but like I hate that word.
Yeah.
Like it is like kids don't choose to be born, and those who feel like they have no opportunities, like it just like kills me. And so we do as much as we can with kids, especially like impoverished and underprivileged kids, and then veterans. Like most people, 95% of anyone who joins the military or any armed forces is joining out of a position of no choice.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really
Did you join the military?
No.
You have choice. Most people have no choice. And it's sold to them as come do this for us for a little bit, then you'll have choice. 5% of enrollees do have choice. They're just really into it. They want to do it. And that's a good amount of people. But a lot of people come out of poor neighborhoods. Like we're in Soho right now.
Yeah.
How many stores do you think in Soho here are trying to get people to sign up to the military?
Probably none.
0. Right? We go 100 blocks north. That's where they are. And that's up. And so when veterans do come back, if they're lucky enough to come back, like and then just dropped, right? It's like being dropped back in a foreign country,
Right.
except now you're dropped back in your own country and people treat you differently. And a lot of them actually end up getting into real estate. Most actually, go to Fort Hood, or they stay by base because that's where they do basic training. So they go back to their base. And then they try to get a job around there. There's job placement, like there are still opportunities, but a lot of them then get into real estate. But no one teaches them how to sell, how to make money.
Right.
And so a big part of our missions, both within the brokerage and within Sell.com, are also working with veterans and helping them out.
I love it. When you got into real estate, was it your goal to deal with the top 1% at first, or did that sort of evolve into becoming that?
No, man. When I got my real estate license, my goal was to pay rent. I had to make $2,000 a month. Like that was my goal. I was hand modeling for AT&T, so I was holding cell phones. Yeah, if you Google Ryan Serhant hand model, it is. You just looked at my hands.
Yeah,
I saw you.
No, I'm wondering what makes your hand like special.
Because they're beautiful. What's wrong with you, dude? These hands my hands were on like every bus, taxi, sides of buildings. They picked my hands to hold AT&T cell phones when they first started going international.
Wow.
And the slogan back then, this was 2008, 9, and 10, was AT&T wireless, now in over 500 countries, or 500 cities or territories, Shenzhen, and then or Beijing, Shanghai, Johannesburg, and then they would paint my hands to look like pandas, or the Great Wall of China, or the Eiffel Tower. And I played piano when I was a little kid, and I don't have a lot of veins.
Got it.
And so my hands, I was able to grip like a phone without showing stress in my hands. And I could move the metatarsals. Anyway, we can go into it, but it was a whole thing. And I would have like a hand masseuse who would like massage my hands, and I would sleep with Lubriderm gloves.
Wow. You took that serious, man.
It was $150 an hour. I lived in New York City, man. Like a 10-hour day, I could make $1,000 plus, and then I'd have to pay a commission to my hand job agent. And that way I was like, oh, I could stay in New York, but hand modeling is inconsistent. So it's like, it's not all the time.
Right.
It's not like I was, just doing hand jobs all day. So it was a thing.
So real estate was the move.
Yeah. So I was like, where do you go? Where do you go from it being the hand model in the world? I was also on a soap opera. They killed me off. So that sucked. I got my real estate license in New York. I lived in Koreatown, and it was like, as long as I can make $2,000 a day. And so I did rentals, Koreatown, the Bronx, Harlem, places where I could just meet people on the street, meet people on Craigslist and Starbucks. I would find pregnant women. Those were like a good first choice for me, because pregnant women need to move most of the time because they're growing their family side.
Yeah.
So they need 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. That was a good one for me. Foreigners with more than 2 shopping bags at Saks Fifth Avenue, you could afford a new apartment. I would profile everyone. I didn't give a I needed to pay rent.
Wow. So you're out.
Or I had to move home. And that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah. So you were out on the streets just hustling.
Yeah, for 3 years. I didn't take a day off.
3 years. Wow. And then what was that breakthrough after 3 years? Was it a big client, big house?
I sold an apartment in 2008, 9, 10. Yeah. So I got cast on $1 Million Listing New York at the end of December of 2010. So that was like big break 1. And I'd really just done small little deals, and I got into sales a little bit at that time, but it wasn't really, and $1 Million Listing then filmed in 2011. And that whole first season, was super stressful, and I was the bottom of the totem pole. They filmed that whole first season with 4 of us, 4 agents in the city, and told us the 3 best are going to make the show. Good luck. And you got 6 months. And so I was stressed the whole time because I was going up against like the son of the chairman of the biggest firm in the city. That's unfair.
Yeah.
This other guy whose dad was like the minister of finance or something from some country. And I'm like, that's not fair. And then a girl with a little dog. I'm like, I'm like the white guy, not even from here. And I do rentals. I'm 100% going to get fired. I just have to be weird. I will be unique to watch.
Yeah.
And are you not entertained? And so that's the direction that I led in. But I did a deal. It was like small deal. Then this guy from another country, I've told this story so many times, but like this guy from another country, I call him Mr. X because if I said his real name, he would kill me. reached out to me and wanted to buy an apartment for $8.3 million. And that deal took me a year to put together because he wasn't real and he was a total con artist. I thought he was going to sell my body into oil drums and stuff.
Whoa.
And then turned out he was super real. When he bought it, 8.3 million, commissions are 3%. It was like, okay, if I can go through that deal and I can hand model and do rental, and I've got this TV show, you know what? I can figure this out. I'm gonna figure out a repeatable process. And that's the secret to any business, right? Is how do you take one-off experiences in revenue to create a repeatable business?
Right.
And then that's where all our systems and processes came from.
Nice. So what place did you end up getting?
Did I get him?
Did you get first place, fourth place in that show?
Oh no. I mean, I'm always first place. I'm the best. The cast was 3 people.
Yeah.
They cast 4 of us to film the whole first season, and they just said one of you is going to get cut.
Oh, okay.
So this $1 Million Listing would follow 3 agents as we would just do deals. And you can watch. I think it's on Netflix now and reruns and Peacock and Bravo and all that stuff.
Nice.
That show lasted 10 years.
That's a long time for a show.
It came out in 2012. It ended in 2022. 2 Emmy nominations. I did 3 spin-off shows with it. Wrote 3 books with it. Like, it was a lot, you know.
It's a big deal, man. And now you got another show coming up, right?
You can't get enough, man. Yeah. Yeah. So, I started my own company. Like, you're in the building right now that the show, we filmed in. So we filmed all last year. It was a process. Comes out soon on Netflix. It's a real estate show, but it's different. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. I said on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live that it redefines the genre, and that is like the only way that I can describe it. It is not a classic reality show. It'll check that box for people that just want to sit down and watch $1 Million Listing. Like, it checks that box hard, which is good. But then it's also an occupational docuseries. Like, it is, you sit there and you binge it, and it's emotional and super stressful, and there's a lot of crying.
Wow. We get deep on it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Could you tell?
Yeah.
I'm a deep person.
You're an emotional guy, man.
Who knew?
I'm actually surprised.
I know. That Accutane didn't kill my emotions.
Yeah. Well done, man. Because I lost my emotions for a few years.
Clearly.
Took me some time to find it. So I looked up.
Look great.
I look better. I'll show you photos of me before. I had terrible acne scars and everything.
Yeah.
Couldn't even talk to a girl.
Yeah.
I didn't look in the mirror for 10 years.
Do you talk girls now?
I have a girl now, yeah.
Wow. Good job.
Yeah, right? I looked up this stat this morning. So 38% of homes in the U.S. are owned by baby boomers.
Yep.
With the median home price now being $412,000, do you think millennials and Gen Z will be able to become homeowners?
I think millennials and Gen Z are able to afford way more home than baby boomers ever were. The opportunity to make income now, there are so many more opportunities. There's so many more jobs. There's so much more money now. The difference is in the want. So the baby boomer generation was created around an American dream, right? An American dream of having that job till retirement, your pension fund, 2.2 kids, having a home loan, the dream of home ownership, which I think is great. Is it for everybody? No. But I think it's a surefire way over the long term to create ideally generational wealth, right? It's through real estate ownership and using the banks to help you. It's a great trade.
Yeah.
But you had one job to do it. Today, like, dude, I have 7 jobs. My dad didn't have 7 jobs. My mom didn't have 7 jobs. They each had 1. They got up every day and they went to work.
Right.
Gen Z, Gen Alpha, millennials. I don't wake up and go to work. I wake up and work. Right? It's a difference in the language, right? It's a difference in the grammar now, which means that I can wake up and work this way and then this way and then this way and then this way. But if you have to wake up and go to work, which a lot of people still do, it limits your opportunity. I can side hustle through my phone.
Right.
If you use social media the right way, you can make 50 grand, 100 grand a year, right? Partnerships, collaborations, licensing, figure out how to build your personal brand. That's why I wrote, I don't even know where that book is, Brand It Like Serhant. It's here somewhere. To enable people to really create and unlock the potential for income based on what you already have, which is you.
Right.
Like the power of you is so strong. Most people spend so much of their time trying to be them that they don't focus at all on trying to be you. And that's what the business is, right? The business of you.
No doubt. It's easier to make money now, I think. Like I was working on the plane here, which is
Yeah.
pretty crazy. But I think the average home price is so high now, though, compared to baby boomers when they were our age.
Correct. There's definitely a relative difference. The debt to income ratio sucks, right? The monthly payments today are brutal, but it's unfair for us to look back and be like, yeah, but mom, your monthly payment was $90. Do you have any idea what that's going to look like 50 years from now?
Mm.
People are going to look back and be like, what? You paid $3,000 a month? Were you stupid? It's going to feel like $3,
Yeah.
right? It's inflation since the dawn of time. We look, I don't have to go into it, but like, so don't hate the player, hate the game.
I feel that. We'll keep it at that.
Exactly.
You have a new mini series with Chase Bank, City versus City.
Yes.
That looked really interesting. Have you done any matchups so far?
We've done a bunch. We filmed them all. That was a crazy day. We were in there, out of there. We went back and forth on which city wins, which city doesn't win.
Yeah.
I really tried to be as honest as I possibly could be, use kind of like viewer feedback and really rate the cities based on what you get for your money.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we worked on. Just because Chase, dude, the amount of people who bank at Chase is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like most of America, and then most of America, when they want to go get a home loan, are like, oh, well, where should I go? It's like, you already bank there. Just go to the place you bank. It's so easy. And they're the best. And they have amazing guarantees. And if they don't show up to close on time, they literally give you cash as like an I'm sorry. Like, who does that? And so we were just comparing properties in cities, like what 400 grand gets you over here? What does a 1-bedroom get you here? And then looking at lifestyle and neighborhood changes.
I'd be interested to see where Vegas ranks on that list.
We did Vegas. I don't remember. We shot it a little while ago. You'll have to watch it.
I'll check it out. Well, it's expensive here, man. I know $4,000 won't get you much here.
You can get things for $4,000. Doesn't mean you're going to like them. You talk about Gen Z, millennials, okay? It's all about the want. Like we have agents that work here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who spend $4,000 a month in rent. But they complain that the commute is too long. I'm like, the commute? Where do you live? Like, well, I live in Jersey. Like, okay. They're like, yeah, but I can't make that appointment because I have to get home. Like, well, you pay $4,000 a month. Why do you live there? Oh, because that's where I could get the most for my money. I have a doorman building. I have a 2-bedroom apartment, in-unit washer dryer. My dog has its own dog run. I'm like,
are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
So the real issue is today, what are you willing to sacrifice compared to 50 years ago? And no one wants to sacrifice lifestyle because of the fear of being embarrassed. So you'd rather, and I do this math with people all the time. Like, so let's just think for a second. You're going to spend the same amount of money. I can find you a pretty apartment for $4,000 a month. It's not going to be awful. It's not going to be what you have in New Jersey, but your commute's going to be 10 minutes versus an hour. So what's 50 minutes twice a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year? Actually, let's say you go on vacation, 2 weeks, 50 weeks a year. Let's do that math. How much money do you want to make this year? They give me a number. Let's break it down. What's your hourly wage that way? Right? I want to make $100,000. I want to make $500,000. Well, okay, what is that? Let's break it all down. Now let's calculate how much you're spending on that commute. And every time I do that math, everyone's mind is blown. They're like, oh, but I'm saving. It's a savings. I'm like, that's what they want you to think. It's not a savings. It's an expense. Your time costs money.
Right.
And if you don't think about your time that way, then you're just an employee of the United States of America.
That's a great way of looking at it. People do not think about that when they get jobs.
Yeah, I have a 1,000-minute rule here. every single minute you have is $1. It's how you got to think about it. Doesn't mean you have to be a psychopath. Doesn't mean you have to freaking sit here and be like, oh, well, it's another $1 just went by. No, it means you have 1,440 minutes in a day. 1,000 of those minutes you have to do your life, right? Some people have less. Some people have a lot more. But on average, it's about 1,000 minutes. How do you democratize your time to leverage it every day? If you think about it as you're the CEO of your own bank of time, and it does two things. One, it helps you be more productive and get more done, have 4 jobs and not be stressed about it, work on the airplane, everything you're talking about. 2, it also enables you to think about waste of time and abuse of time and people that are like time vampires. You know, someone might piss you off for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you might be like, oh, that conversation ruined my day. But all it was 15 minutes. You have $985 other dollars. You're not going to throw those away, are you?
No.
Like if someone stole $15 from you, would you throw away $985 because you're like, well, fine, then it. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's for pure mental health. It is a much healthier way for some people, not everybody, to think about time.
It's important. It's everything.
Yeah.
Really interesting office. So you had whiteboards all over this hallway. What was that about?
When we started the business in 2020, so I got into real estate in 2008 because I ran out of money in New York City. The hand jobs didn't pay the bills. So I had to get a job. And I didn't want a full-time job. I didn't want a survival job because I knew too many people that were 60 and still waiting tables. I was like, I can't do that. And so I got my real estate license, got into real estate. That was 2008. I was a real estate broker and all the other stuff till 2020. And then in 2019, I decided to start my own business. And I was like, in 2020, we're going to do it. Beginning of a new decade, new chapter. It's going to be amazing. And then hit. I was like, damn it. We took a day where we were like, maybe we don't do this. I'm like, screw it. We're going to do it anyway. And so we quarantined in an office that was abandoned in New York City because the city abandoned itself. And we got construction paper and we put them all over that office. And we're like, how do I start a business? I need finance. I need policy, right? We need branding, marketing. And that's what's in that hallway there. Just all the different construction paper from quarantine 2020 that we were just checking off as we did those things and took ownership amongst like my small team.
Wow. So that's been there for 3 years, those whiteboards?
Yeah, when we moved into this building then in 2021. So almost 3 years.
Wow.
But we wrote them. Yeah, it's construction paper, not whiteboards. They're construction paper that we framed because it's just art at that point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do you think New York's recovered since I know a lot of people left?
There's more people in New York now than there were pre. So I don't know where all these people who left went to. Actually, I do know. I moved them all to Florida. But it's just a cycle, man. It's like it was a wild kind of experience to be through it. People in New York were like, "Oh, I'm leaving," and they went to the suburbs. They went to Florida. They went to Texas. You had people in California who were like, "Oh, I'm leaving." You know what? We've never gotten to live in New York. We're going to New York. Right? It seems quiet, which it was. So all these people left New York, went to Florida. All these people from California came over to New York. And then we started getting this really interesting demographic of people moving to New York who were people moving to New York to work from home, who had awesome jobs in Wisconsin, Michigan, Kansas, Oklahoma, right? The Southeast. And they were like, yeah, I'm allowed to work from home now. But my business is based in Tulsa and I've never had the opportunity to ever live in New York. It's like, why don't I just move to New York? This would be awesome. And I'll just work from this apartment or my roof or like Central Park that I've only ever seen in movies. I'm like, okay. People moved here to work from home because we forget when we're here how amazing the city is. I've been everywhere. I mean, New York City is still, no matter where I go, the most intellectually curious city ever.
Wow.
And it's awesome. You can complain about all the stuff and the crime and the trash and everything. Dude, I've been everywhere else. I was just in Egypt. I watched a woman kill a dog.
Holy crap.
I've never seen that in New York. Like, that was like, and you really start to understand how much we take a lot of pieces of America for granted.
Yeah. I will say the energy in New York City is unmatched.
It's insane.
It just feels so infectious when you're out here.
Yeah. And dude, there's adaptive reuse in this city because it's an island. So, for example, the building we're in right now, like, what real estate broker has their own building in Soho? Zero. But for us, especially during this building was built for Tommy Hilfiger. Except people changed how they shop. So it didn't make sense anymore. But for us in our business, it's like, okay, so we do media production, we do education, we do technology, we do real estate. I need like a one-stop shop, and I couldn't find an office big enough. I didn't want to be in a boring office. I wanted a clubhouse. It's like, let's create a content house for professionals. And we found this building. It was like, this is actually kind of perfect. So this is adaptive reuse of big box retail, if you will. And so there's a lot of opportunities like this, that have come from it. And all these offices are completely full. Doesn't mean people are showing up every single day, but they're paying rent.
Right.
Like the occupancy is there. The vacancy rate might feel like it's high, but it's not.
Can't even imagine the rent for this.
It's a lot.
I bet. Oh man, you're in prime real estate right here.
It is true.
Well done, man. Any investments you're excited about right now?
Just invested into. I was early into and I guess you call it an energy drink called Update. That is awesome because look here, yeah, Danny's drinking it.
There we go.
It is. There's no taurine, there's no caffeine, and they split the caffeine molecule, and it's paraxanthine, and there's no crash. There's like literally no. You feel nothing other than just you're a little bit more alert.
Wow.
And it's like interesting. It's crazy.
I need to try that.
Try it. This downstairs is free. I own it.
Dude, that's why I don't drink energy drinks, because the crash is just massive. Even coffee.
Dude, exactly. That's why. Yeah, that's probably why you stopped all the hardcore drugs too. And the I'm a big investor into Major League Pickleball.
Okay.
I'm an owner with Drew Brees in the Mad Drops team based in LA, and we're number 1 right now. So
damn,
what's up? I'm invested into Blank Street Coffee, which I think is just awesome. They're super cool guys, and I think it's good coffee, even though I don't drink coffee. And,
love the honesty.
Yeah. What's up? And a bunch of other things, and then our own businesses, man. Like this place is an investment every day.
Absolutely. Who wins in pickleball 101, me or you?
You.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got good reach. How tall are you? 6'4"?
I'm 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
You win.
But you don't know my skill level.
I don't care, man. Pickleball is a small box, right? The greater the wingspan, mixed with a little agility, you can be pretty great.
You also mentioned earlier you weren't athletic, so
yeah,
got to factor that in, right?
Okay, way to rub it in.
But you're good at business, which is more important.
For now, we'll see what happens.
All the kids that were athletic in school that were popular are looking at you now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Maybe they work for me somewhere, somehow.
They might.
It's weird. I bump into people that I went to school with every now and then, and I'm like, who are you?
Are you going to speak at the high school reunion, 25-year reunion?
Well, I've never been asked to come to my high school to speak. I've given other commencement addresses. I give speeches all the time, but neither of my college, I'm not nearly cool enough yet. They get like major people.
Which college did you go to?
Hamilton in upstate New York.
Hamilton. Haven't heard of that.
It's a liberal arts school like Colgate and those. But my high school, like this little high school in North Shore of Boston, I don't know. They've never asked me to come back.
What is your core message when you're speaking in front of people? What are you trying to get across mainly?
Cry on the inside like a winner and just suck it up.
Cry on the inside like a winner.
No, that's not it. What do I say to people? It depends on really who I'm talking to, right? I think time heals all wounds. I think everything is relative. I think your stress today is going to embarrass you tomorrow, right? I think that if you take care of the work is going to take care of you. Everything else goes away.
Wow.
With time.
I love that.
And it's about building foundation. Like it's just about building foundation, and understanding that you can't take tasks with you, but you can take adventures. And as long as what you do every day feels like enough of an adventure, then you'll sell it to yourself, right? As a good use of your time. Like even on my worst days at this company, and those days exist, You know, like we have people, I have 150 employees now. We have over 600 agents. There's 4 different companies here. Like it's a lot. And there's days where I'm just like, shut the door, turn the lights off. And that's an adventure even in of itself. And it'll help inform the foundation for the CEO that I'm going to be a year from today. And I see that now. Like the things I go through now are brutal, but compared to what I went through 3 years ago, you know, because they're brutal today, I look back and I'm like, man, remember when I was stressed 3 years ago about that thing? God damn it. Like that was no, I wish I knew then what I know now.
Yeah. No, that's facts though. I look back at the stress I used to have and I laugh. I had gray hairs at 21 because I was stressed from something that I look back at that's normal now.
Always, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably end it there because I don't think we'll be able to top that advice. Anything else you want to promote or close off with?
Oh, I think, new show comes out on Netflix end of June. Make sure you watch it. When is this going to drop?
First week of June.
Okay. So new show called Owning Manhattan comes out on Netflix on June 28th. So make sure you watch it.
Perfect. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.